Welcome to today's video where we will be discussing the benefits of using dependency injection in software development. Dependency injection is a powerful design pattern that can improve the maintainability, scalability, and flexibility of your application, by reducing coupling, increasing testability, and promoting code reusability. In this video, we will explore how dependency injection can help you write better code, build more modular applications, and improve your software development workflow. So, whether you're a beginner or an experienced developer, join us on this journey to master dependency injection and unlock the full potential of your applications. Dependency injection, DI, is a design pattern that is used to manage the dependencies of an application. In simple words, it means that instead of creating an object inside a class, we pass the object as a parameter to the class constructor. This pattern helps in reducing coupling and makes the code more maintainable, scalable, and testable. In this video, we will explore dependency injection and its benefits. We will discuss how to use dependency injection in C# using different approaches. Benefits of using dependency injection: reduces coupling. Dependency injection helps to reduce the coupling between different classes in a system. When using dependency injection, classes are no longer directly responsible for creating or managing their dependencies, but instead, they rely on an external component to provide the necessary dependencies. This reduces the dependency on concrete implementations and makes the code more maintainable and flexible. By reducing coupling, it is easier to modify and test individual components of the system without affecting other parts of the system. This makes the code base more modular and easier to maintain, which is especially important in large and complex applications. Increases testability. One of the biggest benefits of using dependency injection is that it increases the testability of the code. By injecting dependencies into a class, we can easily create mock objects or test doubles for those dependencies, which allows us to test the class in isolation without worrying about the actual implementation of the dependencies. This makes it easier to write automated unit tests for the application, which is critical for ensuring the quality of the code base. By ensuring that each component of the application can be tested in isolation, we can identify and fix issues quickly and prevent regressions in the code. Improves code reusability. Dependency injection promotes code reusability by allowing us to create components that can be used in multiple parts of the application. By injecting dependencies, we can ensure that multiple classes or components use the same instance of a dependency, rather than creating multiple instances of the same dependency. This reduces code duplication and promotes code reusability, which is important for building maintainable and scalable applications. Additionally, it makes it easier to maintain the code base over time, since changes made to a dependency will automatically be reflected across all components that use that dependency. Increases flexibility. Another benefit of using dependency injection is that it increases the flexibility of the application. By relying on an external component to provide the necessary dependencies, we can easily swap out or replace dependencies as needed. This makes it easier to upgrade to newer versions of a dependency or to switch to a different implementation without having to modify the code base extensively. Additionally, it makes it easier to extend the application in the future, since we can easily add new dependencies without worrying about the impact on existing code. Dependency injection approaches with example. Dependency injection is a popular pattern in C# and is widely used in various software applications. There are different approaches to use dependency injection in C#. We will discuss some of the popular approaches. Constructor injection. Constructor injection is one of the popular approaches to use dependency injection in C#. In this approach, we pass the dependencies as parameters to the constructor of the class. Let's take an example to understand this approach better. Suppose we have a class called Customer Service that is responsible for managing customer data. The Customer Service class depends on a customer repository class to interact with the database. Here is the code for the Customer Service class. In the code snippet, we are passing the customer repository class as a parameter to the constructor of the customer service class. This approach makes the customer service class more testable and scalable. Property injection. Property injection is another approach to use dependency injection in C#. In this approach, we pass the dependencies as properties of the class. Let's take an example to understand this approach better. Suppose we have a class called order service that is responsible for managing order data. The order service class depends on an order repository class to interact with the database. Here is the code for the order service class. In the code snippet, we are passing the order repository class as a property of the order service class. This approach is not recommended because it creates a tight coupling between the classes. If we change the name of the property or remove the property, it will break the functionality of the class. Method injection. Method injection is another approach to use dependency injection in C#. In this approach, we pass the dependencies as parameters to the methods of the class. Let's take an example to understand this approach better. Suppose we have a class called product service that is responsible for managing product data. The product service class depends on a product repository class to interact with the database. Here is the code for the product service class. In the code snippet, we are passing the product repository class as a parameter to the methods of the product service class. This approach is not recommended because it creates tight coupling between the classes and also makes the code harder to read. Interface injection. Interface injection is another approach to use dependency injection in C#. In this approach, we pass the dependencies as interfaces. Let's take an example to understand this approach better. Suppose we have a class called supplier service that is responsible for managing supplier data. The supplier service class depends on a supplier repository class to interact with the database. Here is the code for the supplier service class. In the code snippet, we are passing the supplier repository class as an interface to the constructor of the supplier service class. This approach makes the code more maintainable, testable, and scalable. So, there you have it. Dependency injection is a powerful pattern that helps in managing the dependencies of an application. In this article, we discussed different approaches to use dependency injection in C#. We also discussed the benefits of using dependency injection. By using dependency injection, we can write more maintainable, scalable, and testable code. Thanks for tuning into this video. If you found this content valuable, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends and colleagues. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to our channel for more great content like this. By hitting that subscribe button, you'll never miss out on the latest insights, tips, and strategies that we share. So, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.